The room was tense, filled with the quiet hum of advanced technology and the soft whispers of countless alien species seated around a massive, circular table. The Galactic Council had convened once again, and this time their attention was focused on Earth. At the head of the table, a hologram of a towering alien species, an imposing creature with thick scales and glowing red eyes, was speaking in harsh, echoing tones. "Humanity," he sneered, "a species of hairless apes, barely evolved beyond the primitive creatures they once were. They have no place among the stars. If they had been left to their own devices, they'd be nothing more than a footnote in history." Laughter rippled through the council chamber. Some aliens clicked their mandibles in amusement. Others made crude gestures as they mocked humanity's frail, insignificant nature. The words echoed off the chamber walls as the image of Earth flickered on the large screen at the center of the room. It was a bright blue planet, filled with life, but to the galactic elite, it was nothing more than a speck of dust in the grand cosmos. Hairless apes. They don't even have the intelligence to understand the wonders of the galaxy, the speaker continued, his voice dripping with contempt. Why should we waste our time with a species so beneath us? At the far end of the room, in a darkened corner, a lone human figure stood, listening intently. Commander Jacob Stevens was tall, muscular, and sharp-eyed. He had seen battle countless times, fought on distant worlds, and commanded some of the most advanced warships Earth had ever produced. His jet-black hair was neatly trimmed, his uniform adorned with medals and honors, symbols of humanity's progress. He had earned his place in the ranks of the galaxy's most elite military leaders. Yet there was a fire in his eyes, a fire stoked by the venom of these aliens' insults. Stevens had always known that humanity was underestimated. They were always seen as the underdogs, small, unrefined, and naive in the eyes of those who viewed themselves as superior. But this was something else. The words cut deeper than he expected. It wasn't just the insults about humanity's appearance. It was the casual dismissal of everything humanity had achieved. The Galactic Council saw only weakness, ignoring the resilience, ingenuity, and spirit that made humans who they were. As the aliens continued to mock Earth, Stevens clenched his fists, his jaw tightening. He had heard the stories of how the galaxy's most powerful civilizations had laughed at humanity's primitive beginnings, how they thought the human race would never rise to power, let alone challenge their so-called superiority. But they didn't know Earth. They didn't understand what humanity was capable of when pushed to the edge. And now, this final insult, this mockery of everything Earth had fought for, had gone too far. As the meeting continued, Stevens left his post and made his way down the long corridor of the massive space station. His boots echoed against the polished metal floor as he strode toward the communications room, his mind racing. He needed to act. Inside the communications room, Stevens sat down at a sleek control panel, his fingers moving over the holographic buttons with practiced precision. He sent a message, a single transmission to the Galactic Council. His voice, calm and unwavering, would carry across the stars. To the Galactic Council, Stevens began, his voice broadcast to every corner of the galaxy. You insulted humanity, calling us hairless apes, unworthy of your attention. I heard every word you said, and I have only one message for you. Run. You do not know what you are dealing with. Underestimate us, and you will regret it. The transmission sent a ripple through the council. Alien faces turned from one another in confusion and disbelief. A human sending a warning. It was unheard of. They had seen humans as a joke, as nothing more than a fleeting species in the grand expanse of time. But now, they had made a mistake. Stevens leaned back in his chair, his expression stone cold. He wasn't just speaking for himself. He was speaking for every human who had ever struggled, fought, and bled for survival. Humanity was not just a collection of individuals. It was a force to be reckoned with. Across Earth, the message was broadcast to every corner of the planet. Millions of people, from every nation, paused in their daily routines as the voice of their commander echoed through every screen. They watched, silent and tense, as Stephen's words resonated through their hearts. The government, military leaders, and civilians alike stood in solidarity. It wasn't just a fight for survival, it was a fight for their honor. For too long, humanity had been looked down upon. For too long, they had been underestimated. But now that would change. Stevens knew what he was doing. He was challenging the most powerful empire in the galaxy, and he would not back down. As Stevens finished his message, he looked out the window of the communications room, watching as the stars stretched out before him. The vastness of space was intimidating, but it no longer held the same fear it once did. Humans had always feared the unknown, but they had learned to fight, to adapt, and to survive. Now, the stars were their playground, and the galaxy would learn that humanity was not something to be trifled with. The galaxy would soon learn why Earth was not just another backwater planet, why humans were not just hairless apes, but the most dangerous species the galaxy had ever seen. It wasn't just about advanced technology or military might. It was about the spirit of humanity, the unbreakable will that had carried them through countless challenges, and it was this will that would drive them to victory. In the heart of the Galactic Council, confusion turned to concern. The once laughing aliens now looked at each other with uneasy glances. They had underestimated humanity before, but this time it was different. They had poked the bear, and they would soon see the consequences of their arrogance. Stevens was already moving, gathering his elite team of soldiers and strategists. He would prepare them for the coming battle. They would show the galaxy what humanity could do when pushed to the edge, and they would do it together, as one unstoppable force. The warning had been sent. Now all that was left was for the galaxy to decide whether it would heed it or face the wrath of humanity. The message had been sent, but the Galactic Council had dismissed it as nothing more than a hollow threat. Humans, after all, were nothing more than a fleeting speck in the vastness of the galaxy. Their insults and laughter had echoed across the cosmos, but Earth had not been intimidated. Instead, humanity had united under the banner of their commander, Jacob Stevens, and was now preparing to show the galaxy just what they were capable of. The Galactic Empire, in their overconfidence, believed that their technology and power would easily crush any resistance from such a primitive species. They laughed at the humans' attempts to challenge them, assuming that their sophisticated ships, advanced weaponry, and countless resources would be enough to quell the threat. But they were wrong. As weeks passed, Earth's military had been silently preparing. The world's leading scientists, engineers, and military strategists worked around the clock, harnessing the full potential of Earth's technological advancements. AI-controlled warships, capable of launching devastating attacks with pinpoint precision, were constructed in secret space stations hidden beyond the planet's orbit. These ships were equipped with cloaking technology, an advanced system that allowed them to move undetected through the vastness of space. The galaxy's most powerful weapons were placed into the hands of Earth's commanders, and soon, humanity would have the power to stand toe-to-toe with the most feared civilizations in the galaxy. Commander Stevens stood in the command center of the flagship, the Defender, a ship unlike anything seen before. Towering at over 300 meters in length, the Defender was equipped with an array of devastating weapons, from energy cannons capable of obliterating entire fleets to missiles carrying enough firepower to wipe out a planet's surface. Its sleek design and deadly weaponry were a testament to humanity's ingenuity, and it was only one of many ships in the growing Earth fleet. The fleet was not just made up of large warships. It included smaller, faster vessels designed for stealth and rapid strikes. Together, they formed an unstoppable force. Stevens stood at the helm, his hands firmly gripping the control panel as he prepared for the first strike. His face was focused, his mind clear. The time for diplomacy was over. The time for action had arrived. "We're ready, Commander," his chief engineer, Lieutenant Harris, said, his voice tinged with excitement. The commander nodded, his gaze fixed on the stars beyond. Initiate Phase 1. Let's show them what humanity is capable of. The Defender and its fleet of warships shot into space, cloaking as they went, disappearing from view. No one would see them coming. They moved silently, a silent shadow in the vast expanse of space. The Galactic Empire, still unaware of the growing threat, carried on with their normal operations, preparing to send another fleet to Earth to crush the supposed Hairless Apes. Then, as the Empire's fleet entered an uncharted region of space, the first strike came. Without warning, the Defender decloaked, and its massive energy cannons unleashed a torrent of fire. The first alien ship, a dreadnought that had been confident in its superiority, was ripped apart in seconds. Before the enemy had time to react, the smaller ships of the fleet arrived, swooping in with surgical precision. The eye-controlled warships fired their weapons, striking down enemy vessels with devastating force. The once feared alien ships stood no chance against the onslaught. In moments, the space around them was filled with debris, the remnants of the alien fleet floating aimlessly in the vacuum of space. The Galactic Empire's forces were left reeling. They had expected to conquer Earth without a fight, but now, their most powerful fleet had been annihilated by a species they had once mocked. Panic spread quickly among the ranks of the Empire's commanders, and the Galactic Council was thrown into chaos. "What is happening?" one of the alien leaders shouted as he watched the destruction unfold on his screen. "How are they doing this? How did they build these ships so fast?" "Impossible," another alien murmured. "Their technology. It's far beyond anything we expected." The once confident aliens were now gripped with fear, unable to comprehend what they were witnessing. The humans, whom they had deemed weak and insignificant, had revealed a power far greater than anything they could have imagined. The Empire's arrogance had blinded them to the truth. The Council scrambled to respond. They had underestimated the humans, and now they were paying the price. But Commander Stevens and his fleet weren't done yet. Earth's warships continued to strike, hitting every weak spot in the Empire's defenses with brutal efficiency. The aliens tried to retaliate, sending out more ships, but they were met with overwhelming force. The once imposing empire was crumbling, its defenses shredded by the humans' relentless assault. The tables had turned, and now it was the aliens who were running scared. Amidst the chaos, Stevens stood on the bridge of the Defender, his gaze fixed on the vast expanse of space. As the fleet continued its strike, a flash of memories filled his mind. He thought of his family back on Earth, his wife, Sarah, and his young daughter, Lily. He had joined the military not just to protect his species, but to protect those he loved most. Every day, he had fought for their future, for their safety. Now, as he watched the alien ships burn, he knew this battle wasn't just about victory. It was about showing the galaxy that humans would not be cowed. They had the strength to defend what was theirs. He remembered the moment when the aliens had insulted Earth, mocking their species as Hairless Apes. He had felt rage, yes, but he had also felt something else, a deep, burning determination. The Galactic Council had underestimated Earth for the last time. They thought they could destroy humanity without a second thought, but they hadn't realized that the spirit of Earth was unbreakable. It was that spirit that had driven humanity to build these warships, to develop technology beyond the aliens' wildest dreams, and to fight with every ounce of strength they had. Stevens wasn't just fighting for Earth, he was fighting for Sarah, for Lily, for every person he had ever known. The weight of that responsibility pressed down on him, but it also gave him the strength to keep pushing forward. He would make sure the galaxy knew that humanity was not just a hairless ape to be mocked. It was a force that could not be ignored. As the final alien ship in the sector was destroyed, Stevens turned to his crew. "We've made our statement," he said, his voice steady. "Now we finish this." The aliens had made their mistake, and they would soon learn the price of underestimating humanity. The battle had only just begun, and Stevens knew that no matter how powerful the Galactic Empire might be, they would never be able to crush the will of humankind. The battle was far from over. After the humiliating defeat, the Galactic Empire regrouped, their pride shattered by humanity's unexpected retaliation. The Galactic Council, furious at the series of defeats and the humans' audacity, decided to send their most formidable force to Earth. This would be the end of the human uprising. The humans would be crushed once and for all. The fleet that arrived was enormous, larger than anything Earth had ever seen. Thousands of warships, each one a colossal symbol of the Empire's technological superiority, emerged from the dark expanse of space. These ships were equipped with weaponry beyond imagination, capable of wiping out entire cities in seconds. Their shields were nearly impenetrable, and their advanced AI systems made them formidable adversaries. But Commander Jacob Stevens and his fleet weren't afraid. They stood ready, determined to protect Earth and prove that humanity could not be conquered, no matter the odds. The humans had come too far and sacrificed too much to back down now. Stevens stood in front of his crew, his jaw set with determination. "This is it," he said, his voice calm but resolute. "We've come this far, and we will fight with everything we have. The galaxy will know our name. We will show them that humanity doesn't bow to anyone." His crew, an elite group of soldiers and officers, exchanged grim nods. They had seen the destruction humanity had wrought on the Galactic Empire so far. Now, they would face the ultimate test. The humans deployed their fleet into formation, the sleek ships disappearing into cloaking technology. Their enemy, unaware of their approach, moved forward confidently, believing that Earth's defenses were weak and their victory inevitable. But the humans had learned from the past, and this time, they were prepared for the full force of the Galactic Empire. The first strike came swiftly. The human fleet decloaked and launched a barrage of energy blasts at the leading alien ships. The Empire's vessels, though powerful, were unprepared for the sudden attack. Explosions ripped through their ships as energy blasts tore apart their shields. The humans had used their cloaking technology to ambush the aliens, taking them completely by surprise. It wasn't just brute force that the humans relied on. It was strategy. The humans knew they couldn't simply match the Empire's strength with firepower alone. So they used their superior tactics. While the alien fleet scrambled to defend themselves, the human ships continued to strike in waves, picking off their enemies with deadly precision. The humans deployed smaller, faster ships to flank the enemy, confusing them and causing chaos within their ranks. The battle was intense. Alien ships exploded in flashes of light as the humans moved through the battlefield like ghosts. Every move was calculated, every strike carefully planned. The humans used their knowledge of the enemy's tactics to anticipate their moves, countering each attack with incredible efficiency. This wasn't just a fight for survival, it was a battle for honor. The humans knew that their reputation was on the line. If they lost, their species would be wiped out, and their legacy would be erased. But not everyone would make it out alive. As the battle raged on, a few brave soldiers made the ultimate sacrifice to ensure the success of the mission. One of the human warships, the Vanguard, had been positioned at the heart of the conflict. Its crew knew the risks, but they also knew that they were humanity's best hope for victory. With the alien fleet closing in, Commander Stevens gave the order to make a final strike, one that would cripple the Empire's flagship. The Vanguard charged toward the enemy, its weapons blazing, but the aliens had anticipated this move. They fired a barrage of missiles, striking the Vanguard with overwhelming force. The ship was torn apart in an instant, and the crew's sacrifice ensured the alien flagship would be destroyed. The humans had lost one of their finest ships, but the cost was worth it. With the Vanguard gone, the alien flagship was vulnerable. A small group of human ships, led by Stevens' flagship, the Defender, swooped in, delivering a decisive blow to the heart of the Empire's fleet. The alien flagship exploded in a massive fireball, the shockwave reverberating across the battlefield. The tide had turned. Despite the losses, the human fleet pressed on, determined to finish what they had started. The alien forces, once so confident in their superiority, now found themselves on the defensive. The humans were relentless, striking again and again, pushing the Empire's forces back. The alien commanders who had once mocked humanity now found themselves in a desperate retreat. The fear was palpable across the alien ranks. Earth was not the weak, primitive world they had believed it to be. Humanity had fought back with everything they had, and now the galaxy would know the price of underestimating them. As the final alien ship in the sector exploded, the battlefield fell silent. The humans had won. Commander Stevens' voice came through the communication channels, calm and unyielding, his words carrying across the galaxy. "I told you to run." The message was simple, but it resonated with the force of 1,000 battles. The Galactic Empire had been brought to its knees, and humanity had emerged victorious. The surviving members of the human fleet let out a collective sigh of relief. The war was over, but the cost had been high. Lives had been lost, families had been torn apart, but humanity had proven its strength. The galaxy would no longer mock them. They had shown that, no matter how many times they were underestimated, humans would always rise up. Commander Stevens stood on the bridge of the Defender, looking out at the remnants of the alien fleet. He thought of his wife, Sarah, and his daughter, Lily. He thought of the soldiers who had given their lives in the name of humanity's survival. And for the first time in a long while, he allowed himself a moment of peace. The battle was over. Humanity had won. And, as the stars glittered in the distance, the galaxy would remember the day when the Hairless Apes had risen to show their true power. The remnants of the Galactic Empire's once mighty fleet drifted through space, reduced to a collection of broken ships and scattered debris. The aliens who had mocked humanity, calling them hairless apes and unworthy of existence in the galaxy, now found themselves humiliated. The battle had ended, and humanity had emerged victorious. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter that day, reflecting the pride of the humans who had fought so fiercely to protect their home. The Galactic Council, once confident in their superiority, now faced the reality of their disastrous miscalculation. They had underestimated Earth, and now they were paying the price. With their military might decimated, they had no choice but to negotiate with the humans. The message had been clear: never insult Earth again. In the weeks following the battle, the Council's representatives contacted Earth, requesting an audience with Commander Jacob Stevens and the leaders of humanity. The humans, having achieved an unimaginable victory, were in a strong position, and they weren't about to let the aliens forget it. Commander Stevens stood at the helm of the Defender, looking out at the vast expanse of space. He had seen the galaxy's arrogance firsthand, how they had laughed at humanity and treated Earth as nothing more than a primitive backwater. But now things had changed. He had led his people to victory, and the galaxy would no longer look down on Earth. Humanity had proven its strength. The representatives from the Galactic Council arrived, their ships surrounding Earth's orbit in a peaceful gesture. The Council's envoys, once condescending and dismissive, now appeared with a sense of caution in their movements. They knew that the humans were no longer the hairless apes they had believed them to be. Commander Stevens, the head of the Council delegation, began, his voice strained. "We come in peace. We recognize the strength of humanity, and we seek to establish new terms of cooperation. The galactic community wishes to acknowledge your people's prowess and your place in the galaxy." The tone was no longer one of superiority but of respect. The humans had won, and now the galaxy had to live with the fact that Earth had become a force to be reckoned with. The message sent across the stars was clear. Humanity had risen to the top, and there was no going back. The negotiations were intense, but the humans stood firm. Commander Stevens, along with his advisors, laid down terms that would ensure Earth's safety and prosperity. No longer would humanity be a target for the Empire's aggression. No longer would they be treated as inferior. The Galactic Council agreed to humanity's terms, granting Earth a place among the most powerful civilizations in the galaxy. As the negotiations concluded, Stevens could feel the weight of the moment. He had fought for Earth, not just for survival, but for respect. And now humanity was respected. The galaxy would think twice before underestimating humans again. After the victory, Stevens returned to Earth. The streets were filled with celebrations, the people rejoicing in their hard-earned triumph. Families reunited, and the world began to heal from the scars of war. Stevens walked through the crowd, his heart heavy with the knowledge of the sacrifices that had been made. His own heart, however, was lighter as he finally returned to the people he loved. Stevens had been away for months, leading the charge against the alien forces, but now he stood at the threshold of his home, about to reunite with his wife, Sarah, and their young daughter, Lily. The moment was overwhelming. He had fought not just for humanity's survival, but for the future of his family and his planet. "Dad!" Lily shouted, running toward him with arms wide open. He knelt down, lifting her into his arms as Sarah approached, her eyes filled with tears of relief and pride. "I didn't think you were ever coming home," she whispered, her voice trembling. "You did it, Jake. You really did it." Stevens held her close, feeling the warmth of her embrace. He had fought for this moment, this reunion. He had fought for Earth, for his family, and for the future of humanity. The weight of the battle was still with him, but in this moment, it felt like the world was finally at peace. As they stood together, looking out at the peaceful skies, Stevens couldn't help but reflect on how far Earth had come. Once, humans had been seen as nothing more than a primitive species, unworthy of the galaxy's respect. Now, they stood as the galaxy's apex predators, feared and admired by all. The irony was not lost on him. The same people who had once called them Hairless Apes were now negotiating with them for peace. It was a testament to the strength and resilience of humanity. But despite the peace, Stevens knew the galaxy was a dangerous place. The war against the Galactic Empire had been won, but there were still threats lurking in the shadows. The galaxy was vast, and not every species had been humbled by humanity's rise. Stevens had no illusions. The victory was hard-earned, but it was only the beginning. As he stood with his family, looking up at the stars, he made a vow to protect them and to ensure that humanity would never again be underestimated. He would lead Earth into a new era, one where the humans would stand at the forefront of galactic affairs, ready to defend their home and their people from any future threats. The future was uncertain, but humanity had proven something undeniable. They were strong, and they would never back down. But as Stevens stared into the vast expanse of space, he couldn't shake the feeling that the galaxy had only begun to react to humanity's rise. The question lingered in the back of his mind. Were the aliens truly done with humanity, or was this just the beginning? The humans had won this battle, but in the vastness of the galaxy, there would always be new threats, and as long as humanity stood, they would be ready. The story closed with the stars glittering in the distance, a reminder that the universe was still full of untold challenges. The humans, once dismissed as nothing, now stood at the forefront of a new galactic era. And their story was far from over.